First at 5, a Vancouver police officer is facing criminal charges following an arrest that went awry. It was captured on body cameras, and the video shows the officer pulling down a suspect's pants and threatening to tase him in the genitals. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Laurel Porter. The officer in question is off the job this afternoon and facing assault charges. Let's bring in Mike Benner in the newsroom. And Mike, this is graphic video.
Yeah, it really is, Laurel. We want everyone at home to be aware of that before we air the story. A lot of you will find the video quite troubling, but others will not. And that includes an expert in policing who says this would not have happened had the suspect just followed orders.
Hey, go ahead and stop for me. Come on. Well, where you grabbing me? Yep, I told you you're under arrest.
Body cam footage provided by the Vancouver Police Department shows two officers trying to arrest a man suspected of stealing from an East Vancouver Walmart. Before the officers could get the guy in handcuffs, he punched one officer in the face and kicked the other in the chest. The officers managed to get the suspect on the ground, at which point Officer Andrea Mendoza tased him in the back. Then she pulled down his pants and threatened to do the same to his genitals.
Knock it off or I'll do it in your nuts.
I'm done.
I will do it.
I'm done. I promise, I'm done.
Yeah, I will tase you in the
I
nuts.
promise I'm done.
Knock it off.
I will.
Officer Mendoza was placed on administrative leave within a few days of the May 21st incident. And just this week, prosecutors filed fourth-degree assault charges against the officer.
It seems like a little bit of an overstretch.
Brian Higgins is an adjunct professor at the John Jay College of Criminal Justice. He's also a former police chief and director of public safety. He says he does not have a problem with Officer Mendoza's actions.
The officers would not have been forced to use any level of force had this individual just complied. So really what got the ball rolling was this individual's resistance.
Resistance or not, Vancouver Police Chief Jeff Morey is calling his officers' actions disturbing. He added this in a prepared video statement.
I want to emphasize to the community that my expectation is that at all times, our personnel serve the public with professionalism, compassion, and respect.
Among those who believe none of that was on display in this encounter is the mother of the man being taken into custody. His name is Elijah Guffey Prejean. His mother tells KGW her son was profiled and assaulted, and she wants Officer Mendoza to lose her job.
All right, it's worth mentioning Elijah Guffey Prejean is no longer facing charges for what happened back on May 21st. Clark County prosecutors have dismissed those charges. The Vancouver chapter of the NAACP will appreciate that. They sent us a statement saying the officer should be terminated for gross behavior. In the meantime, the police union is standing by Officer Mendoza. They say she did her job faithfully and did not commit a crime. They believe when all is said and done, she'll be exonerated. Laurel.
Thank you, Mike. An update now on the Washington County Sheriff's deputy who was shot in the line of duty. Today, the Sheriff's Office released his name and details about a fundraiser to help him and his family. Tim Gordon joins us now in the studio. First up, tell us, Tim, how is the deputy doing?
Yeah, Laurel, Civil Deputy Charles Doze, well, he is doing better than his previous condition. He's still with serious injuries, but he is in stable condition now. He was shot several times in the face, arms, and chest, according to a GoFundMe set up for him. The Sheriff's Office released these pictures of the deputy earlier today. He's been with the Washington County Sheriff's Office for 10 years. Deputy Doze and two other deputies were serving an eviction notice at the Forest Rim Apartments in Tualatin on Wednesday. When they knocked on the door, 34-year-old Christopher Graves started shooting. About 2 hours after Doze was shot, Graves was found dead inside his apartment. It's still not clear whether officers shot him or he shot himself. Doze is one of 5 civil deputies at the Washington County Sheriff's Office. They handle numerous services like serving legal paperwork, enforcing court orders, appearing as court witnesses, and a court witness and toward abandoned cars. A GoFundMe set up to help the deputy and his family recover has already raised over $7,000 at last check, and we have a link to a fundraiser at KGW.com. Another civil deputy and 2 other sheriff's deputies are on paid administrative leave after that shooting. That is standard procedure in these cases. Laurel?
Well, I know our viewers, a lot of them will support the deputy and his family. Thank you so much, Tim. A former girls rugby coach at Newburgh High School is in jail after being arrested for sex crimes. 28-year-old John David Ali Gisbert is facing several counts of sexual abuse of a child. Police say a parent reported their child was a victim. Gisbert stopped coaching in June. You're looking at the largest fentanyl bust ever in Multnomah County. The sheriff's office just released these photos from a seizure earlier this week. This all started on Tuesday when deputies arrested a wanted man in the Goose Hollow neighborhood of southwest Portland. They got a search warrant for his car and apartment, and this is what they found. 58,000 pills in bags, 16 pounds of fentanyl powder, scales, 2 pill presses, $5,000 in cash, and a handgun. The 16 pounds of powder could have been turned into another 80,000 pills. And the street value of all this is somewhere in the ballpark of $320,000. Now to an update in the tragic case of 13-year-old Milana Lee, who was killed in Beaverton last year. The suspect, Daniel Ryan Gore, is now 17. He's charged with first-degree murder, and the court's been deciding whether he should be tried as a juvenile or as an adult. Evan Watson has the latest now from Washington County.
A judge has decided that Daniel Ryan Gore, the teenager accused of killing 13-year-old Milana Lee last year, should be tried as an adult. That means if convicted, Gore would face up to 30 years in prison instead of 8 more years in juvenile custody. Milana Lee's death rattled the Beaverton community. Just 13 years old and a 6th grader at Conestoga Middle School. Investigators found her strangled to death and hidden in a creek in May of last year. There was evidence she was sexually abused. Lee's grandmother, in tears after the ruling, said the family wanted Daniel Gore to be tried as an adult.
I'm pretty sure they are emotional too and they're all crying. I'm pretty sure. So I think it's the right decision, what I can say. That's all.
Gore is accused of rape and murder. He was 16 at the time. If convicted, Gore will now face a longer sentence. He would have been released at 25 if convicted as a juvenile. The judge said Gore was sufficiently mature to understand his actions, and keeping Gore in the juvenile system is not in the best interest of Gore and society.
My granddaughter is gone. She's not in this anymore here. So I don't want he make hurt to other people.
Since Oregon passed juvenile justice reforms in 2019, it's been very rare for a judge to rule that 15 to 17-year-olds charged with serious crimes should be tried as adults. That's only happened a handful of times, according to Justice Department data. Now, Gore's case becomes one of the exceptions. He'll soon be indicted in circuit court.
If he can plan, so he can know what he's doing, so of course he has to go to adult, as charged as adult.
In Washington County, Evan Watson, KGW News.
Teams are out in the Park Rose neighborhood today helping pick up debris from the abandoned Kmart that burned to the ground last week. According to the city, crews with the company that was leasing the building, Prologis, are canvassing the area today, helping to remove large pieces of debris from lawns and other areas. If you have debris you want removed, a team member may be knocking on your door. You can also report it using an online form. It's also worth noting the EPA and Oregon Department of Environmental Quality did not find any evidence of asbestos in the debris that they sampled. In the meantime, neighbors are now suing over the fire. A neighbor filed a class action lawsuit against the owners of the building and Prologis, which was leasing it. The lawsuit claims they failed to keep the property in good condition and says neighbors experienced harm when debris from the abandoned store fell on their homes and yards. Court documents also lay out previous complaints made to the city about trash and homeless activity on the site.